What's up guys, this is Darkbblue, a gamer who loves Souls-like games, looter games, and every game that involves build making. So it's the time for our first post-DLC build. I will show you a pretty decent dot build which mainly aims at progression instead of boss fights. I'm sure it can serve as an entirely better replacement for range builds, so that range builds can solely focus on melting bosses. To be honest, doing build design is not a very good idea at present. At the early stage after DLC launch, this game is updating frequently, so every build can see huge and sudden change. However, today's build won't see this, I promise you. I shall name it Dot Explosion Shooter. So let's begin with the overall concept before delving into gear details. We all know Dot is a rather slow yet steady way to kill. This nature is in fact not very good for progression because we want to kill enemies as fast as possible, well, or have them all controlled. For a dot build, controlling enemies is not very viable, so maybe we can shorten the time to kill. Indeed, with energized net coil, this becomes possible. This amulet will deal instant explosion based on the expected total damage of a dot when it is inflicted. Well, the details may get changed in the future. Before DLC launch, Energized Net Coil only triggers explosion when a dot is inflicted. But after DLC, it also triggers with every refreshing. However, this is regarded as a bug and has been fixed. But who knows, it's so fun that Gunfire game may add it back again. Please note that the explosion of Energized Net Coil is physical damage, so it cannot trigger malevolence. As a result, we can't rely on spamming mobs to kill every mob. Mobs are for elites only, and we will rely on shooting instead. Now the overall concept is clear. We will be relying on dots that come with the weapon itself or a mutator, and pair them with Energized Net Coil to kill enemies within short time. Currently, it's better if we have multiple sources of dots, so that they can each trigger an independent explosion. Then let's take a look at the gears we will be using. For primary weapon, I prefer Spark Shotgun in DLC. Its dot doesn't deal very high damage, but can be triggered without RNG, and this allows you to enjoy the crit chance bonus of Ritualist. You can also use the new Corrosive Mutator with this gun for an additional dot. And for sidearm, Tag 22 is the best choice to pair with Twisted Wounds. This gun has the highest fire rate among all weapons and thus can inflict bleeding with the shortest time. In the end, pick the Shock Axe as your melee weapon and use the mutator that allows charged melee attack to inflict corrosive. From the gears we have already selected, we mainly benefit from crit chance and fire rate to trigger Twisted Wounds faster, and Swap Speed to switch between the two weapons. So it's time to decide the trinkets. Fragment, 1 for survival, 1 Swap Speed, and 1 crit chance. Fire rate is given up, but, well, you can choose to use it on lower difficulty. Ring. The timer ring is important as it greatly increases total dot damage. Then we can use Gambler for more crit chance. You can also use the new crit chance ring that inflicts bleeding on you, of course. For the other two rings, Stacking Survival is the default choice, but you can use Malevolence if you feel your survivability is already enough. Now we still have mobs to choose, right? Our current gears can handle mobs already, so the two mobs are for release only. I prefer Son of Aphel and Witchfire. The former controls elites and the latter deals damage. But feel free to try your own choice, as they don't really matter. At last, let's see the rotations. Typically, I will start with a Spark Shotgun shot. If this shot simultaneously inflicts burn and corrosive, the enemy is likely to die. Otherwise, switch to Tag 22 to inflict bleeding. If the target is even still alive, it's time to throw your axe, and no mob can survive this. If you are facing a fire-resistant dungeon, Well, I personally suggest you just change to another build, but if you insist, consider changing your primary weapon to Typewriter. First inflict bleeding with Tech 22, then swap to Typewriter for corrosive. With the whole build introduced, I like to close this video with an analysis of how useful this build can be. As you can see, this build relies on basic shooting, but its damage output is in fact independent from the shooting itself. Therefore, you can enjoy the advantages of range builds such as flexibility, long attack distance, and maybe more. And in the meantime, you won't suffer from the shotguns. For example, you kill even more efficiently with dot explosions. You don't need to mind the effective attack range as the dot damage is all the same at any distance. You even have some AoE ability. All in all, range builds are perfectly replaced with regard to progression. However, dot explosion shooter build is not perfect. The major drawback is its capability against many mobs. Indeed, you can do AoE, but it takes time to make effects, and you are likely to get killed before that. On the contrary, mod builds can do decent crowd control with Son of Aether, Tremor, or Firestorm, or simply kill everyone with a Star Shot. Considering all the pros and cons, I tend to use dot builds along with mod builds. If it's a dungeon with complicated terrain, open environment, or lots of aerial enemies, I use dot builds. Otherwise, for lots of enemies within close range, mod builds are better. In the end, I think dot explosion build is at least really fun to use, no matter if it's decent or squishy. I'm really fond of switching between weapons and do the kill with the Thorax. This is my first favorite build post DLC, and I hope you will like it too. If you like my story or want to join me into depth of games, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you around.